Hey there, mattphilleo here in the studio working on this 18 by 24 portrait of my clients in colonial garb, the husband leading his wife off of the carriage. And today we're going to work on the acrylic glazing technique, just showing you in the beginning stages of a painting how to build up color and depth and kind of set the stage by covering the overall image with more layers, more glazes. We're toning it, building up the value structure. So watch over my shoulder today as I paint. And before I start, I'm just going to ask a quick blessing here, and then we'll get started. Father, I ask you, bless this painting today. Apart from you, I can do nothing, Lord, but with you, I can do all things. So please help me guide my hands, help me to get the colors, the values, the shading, the detail, all those different things, Lord, to work out. I pray, Lord, that this would be a blessing to the clients, would be a great addition to their home. And then for all the students, Lord, all the people watching, bless them in their painting. Many of them are wanting to learn how to paint portraits in acrylic. That's why they're watching this. And I pray that you would bless them in that. I ask that you would give them inspiration, increase their skills, let them use the talent you've given them, and let them go to higher levels, Lord, in their portrait painting depictions. So bless them in that. Bless all the people watching this. Draw them close to you. In Jesus' name, amen. Alright, so I have my palette here, matte medium in the middle, and my usual palette of colors here, and we're going to get started. What I want to do is darken the trees, because that's one of the darkest values within the picture. The tree area, and then also the shadows here under the carriage. So I want to continue to darken that. And what I'm going to do is take some raw umber dark, mix it with matte medium, and we're going to go over a couple more areas. Now, if I want to make the raw umber dark a little darker, I can add a little bit of ultramarine blue, and then that's going to make more of a Payne's gray or black color. Just swirl that around. And I want to look on the reference photo where the darkest areas are. So now, instead of filling in all the branches at the same level, I'm wanting to pick out those areas that are darkest and get those filled in first. And then I'll blend it out to the other areas. So I kind of scrub this in perpendicular to the canvas, and after I scrub it in, then I smooth it out, and it appears that this side is a little darker on the right side than the other. So I'm going to blend that out a little bit. Maybe I got it a bit too dark. And then up in here we have another level of shading. We bring that up into the tree. And then up here it gets a little darker. I want to differentiate some of the branches. We're also going to leave some room for the green color of the leaves. And overall, just want to see the patterns and everything that needs to go into this. This branch can get a little bit darker as well. So what I'm doing right now is basically getting those darker values. After this would dry, then I would come back in with a little bit of a more, a little warmer color. So I would mix more of a raw umber dark, maybe a little raw sienna, a little bit of burnt sienna, and I would go over the whole thing. I'd cover everything. And by overlapping this layer here that's a little darker, a little cooler in tone, but just being put in those specific spots, just in those specific spots, in those shadowed areas, by overlapping the two together, it's going to get a cohesiveness, and you're going to see some shading and gradation. You're going to see lighter areas on this side as you would expect, because we have the light source over here on the left. And then those areas that are illuminated also will be a little warmer in tone, because we're going to have the warmer glaze of the raw sienna and the burnt sienna on that side only. Okay, so hope the way I'm explaining that makes sense. I really want you to understand the way the glazing technique works. It's probably different if you attempt to paint this way. It's different than anything you've ever done. It's not like painting opaquely. You have cumulative layers working together. Hey, real quick, if you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and leave comments for me on this channel, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more videos just like this. Alright, back to the video. So it's like the compound effect of building a foundation and then adding to it and adding to it. You know, just think of big cities in the world. You know, like I think of Chicago and New York and Los Angeles. Well, those cities weren't built in a day, right? I mean, they took a while. You had people that built them up over many generations. But because many people were living in them over the years, they started building taller skyscrapers, more infrastructure, and it all added on top, you know, of the original structures they had years and years ago. So just think of it in this way. The glazing technique, you start with some small foundations and you just layer and layer and layer and add to it. And eventually you get a really dramatic effect. You get a painting that looks more like an oil painting than an acrylic, because people commonly think of acrylic as more flat. The blending isn't as smooth. But with the glazing technique, you really can overcome a lot of those inhibitions and boundaries and just things that people associate with acrylic being a detriment. You can overcome that and have it work to your benefit and make a painting that really has rich luminosity and depth and warmth. It's a great way to paint. But anyway, so again, I'm just adding those darker values in specific spots. And up here we have a darker value on this branch. And I'm going to have to come back in with some warmer tones on the top. I can see that I've neglected that. I should have actually hit it in some previous layers, so I'll have to hit it later, but that's okay. You can all... Nice thing is, you know, with this technique, whereas with traditional painting techniques, you know, you do the background and then you start doing the foreground and things in front of it. It's really hard then to go back to working on the background if you felt you missed something. Maybe the trees aren't bold enough or detailed enough or just something's lacking. A little harder to do that after you've done all those layers, whereas with this I can always come back and basically work on any part of the painting if I've missed something and get it to where it should be. So it gives you a lot of versatility. Alright, I'm going to add a dark shadow right here. A dark shadow right here on the carriage. There we go. We'll just darken that a little bit. And then also one right here on this part of the carriage. Just adding this, again, this mixture of raw umber dark, ultramarine blue. And let's add a little more of a shadow to the wheel well. Darken that a little bit. I'm going to leave off right here because it gets a little lighter down there, but I'm just going to hit this side. It does get a little darker just on that side. And then also, I need to zoom in just a bit. I want to move this Kindle over a little bit. There we go. I'm going to hit just this area right here on the wheel well. And then right there. And right there. I suppose there's something inside there I have to start doing, but that's a different color, so I'll just get the shadow of it right there. I'll have to add some different colors in. I'm going to darken this spoke right here. I'm just using this 1/2 inch flat brush. Works really well for this. Darken that side a little bit. We're just getting some of the shadows in. And on this side here, there's a shadow on this spoke. I turn the brush at a 45-degree angle so I can really get the directional stroke going on. Getting the thin side of the brush involved. Now I'm pulling this color down, just dragging the brush across the surface. Now, add a little bit more here, darken that wheel well a little bit. Let's see here, I'll move the Kindle just a little bit more. Oh, maybe I can set it right there. Darken this part of the wheel a little bit. And this is a really good color for that. It's a little cooler in tone, and it seems to really match what I'm seeing in the reference photo, which is a little cooler in tone. Darken this part of the wheel as well. Behind the wheel, I think that might be part of the horse. Get a little darker. And also this value. I'm just looking for the darkest values. This is part of the carriage, I believe. I want to darken that. And then this part of the horse's bridle and saddle, whatever structure they use to hook it up to the carriage. Maybe darken the man's shoe just a little bit. See if there's anything else. Be underneath the horses a little bit. I add just a little bit of burnt sienna, or sorry, raw umber dark to the mix, and I want to darken just the shadow underneath the horses a little bit, just in the right spots. So by placing these shadows in just the right spot, we're building up some gradation and depth. I'll set this over here so I can see it better. Zoom out just a little bit. Just building up some of those shadows. Looks like right here there should be more of a shadow. It should come out a little further. So I'm really paying attention to how far the shadow goes. I mean, that's very important. I have to get the overall sense of the main structure of the shadow that it comes out about this far. And that's important in creating realism, is getting your shadows to occupy the correct spaces within your painting. Really pay attention to your reference photo. You want to be looking at that. You want to be looking at your reference photo probably 50% of the time that you're looking at your painting. So really study that reference photo, and that's going to go a long ways in making your painting look realistic. Alright, I'm seeing if there's anything else I can add. A shadow under here, under the wheel well, just a little bit. Shadow right here, here, and then there's a few different things going on inside, behind this wheel well. I can't quite see it, but I just want to darken the overall structure. And just a little bit of burnt sienna. Yep, actually is burnt sienna this time. I'm going to darken this shadow here under the horse. It's a little warmer over there in tone. The color's just a little warmer, which is why I added burnt sienna to it. Alright, now I think, well, I have a couple of weird spots in the top. I dab those a little bit. Alright, and I think that'll be it for this layer. Again, just very slowly bringing this painting to completion. So, but if you're finding this technique interesting, this video is helpful or interesting to you, please give it a thumbs up. Really appreciate your support of this channel. Leave me comments below if you have any questions, and if I can help you in portrait painting in any way, let me know. Also, if you're looking at having a commissioned portrait done, I do those, and this is what this is a commissioned portrait, so be happy to paint a custom portrait for you. Just let me know. But anyway, if you're an artist looking at learning to paint portraits more realistically, I have a website called realisticacrylic.com, and there I have dozens of tutorials on various topics related to acrylic portrait painting, and I'm sure you're going to find that helpful. So go on to realisticacrylic.com and shoot me an email, keep in touch, and let me know if I can help you in any way. Alright, thank you so much for watching, God bless, and we'll talk to you soon.